This is Julie Hendrickson. She is our featured quilter this year. She owns a quilt shop, JJ Stitches, in Sun Prairie. And she is here with all of her antique quilts, or not all of them. There's only about 30 of her collection here. She's enjoyed collecting quilts for quite a long time. And so, Julie, how's it feel to have a lot of your quilts on display today?
Great. Usually at home they're folded and they're on benches or they're in crocks, so I don't see a lot of them out flat all of the time. So it's even new for me.
Yeah, it is fun to see things on display.
Yeah.
What would be the age range, do you say, of your quilts?
The one behind us is the earliest one, and this is pre-Civil War. Probably 90% of my collection, 1870 to 1890, so that's most of them in the center. I brought a few 30s quilts.
Oh, okay. Yep. Very good. As far as how you got started collecting all these, early on, or how many years?
I have always sewn. I have my sewing machine that I got for a Christmas present when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I still have it. So I've always sewn. Got interested. I sewed all through high school, sewed clothes. My mom and I were antiquing, and I happened to stumble upon 2 antique quilts.
I
hadn't even really started quilting at that time, and my first one was a Sunbonnet Sue, and I bought it for my niece, who was just born at the time, and then thought, oh, it was a natural progression to go from sewing to quilting, and I think that's really common for a lot of quilters.
Oh, yes, myself too.
Yeah, we don't sew clothes anymore, we quilt.
Right.
So that's kind of how it started.
Ah, that's fun. Reproduction quilts, and
we
have fabrics for
that.
those at your shop, don't
That's
you?
what we do at the store. So I actually brought one along today, just in case somebody would ask. And so what we do is we wait until a current fabric collection comes out that matches something I own, and you'd be amazed that sometimes they're identical.
Wow.
A lot of the fabrics that are reproduction fabrics now today are coming off old quilts.
Yes.
And so if that comes out, then I go through my collection, find that quilt, write a pattern, and then we take a picture of the old and new, put those both on the cover of the pattern, and hang them both in the store.
Yes, and some of those have been published in the magazines.
They have.
The
We
quilting
probably had
magazine.
about 12 or 13, I think, published now in magazines.
Very nice.
American Patchwork and Quilting is the one that we have worked with closely. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So people that have those magazines, this is Julie.
Yeah, and actually the one I brought today is 2002. They actually pick top shops in the country once a year, and that's the one I brought for so you could see today.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll go on and look at that.
All right.
We're now looking at the quilts that Julie has brought. Many different patterns that a lot of people will recognize. Any comments on some of these?
I think probably if people, when they walk by and they check on the collection, the first quilt hung and probably the fourth one are very good examples of color and what colors are put together. I mean, if some people look at that today, they thought, well, never put together a poison green, a bubblegum pink, the yellow, those cheddars. So we try to encourage people to be a little freer with their colors. If you run out of a fabric, it's not the end of the world. Use something else. Your quilt will probably be better for it.
Yes.
This one that's right behind us here, you can see she started, shirting are the little prints in the background. She started with one almost all the way across, obviously ran out, finished with something else, which makes that quilt fun. The one behind us, you can tell that this part of the quilt, fabrics are 1870 to 1890, and then all of a sudden there's a center that's more browns and yellows. Those fabrics are much earlier. So this particular person probably started or found those, finished it later.
I like this T-shirt over here.
The T-quilt?
The T-quilt, yeah.
Pinks and browns. There's a lot of pinks and browns available on the market now. Those colors very common, the blues. But a lot. In fact, you'll see that they're maybe on the other side more so that the shirtings, blues, pink, some of my favorite colors to collect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're holding a newer quilt, a reproduction.
We brought one along, and so this is the old one, and then this is the one that we made that is the reproduction.
So how old is the old one?
1870.
1870, okay. And then
Yep, this one made in 2002. Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
When we started to make this one, when we started measuring the blocks, there was a half-inch difference from the smallest to the largest block.
Oh.
So that was why these blocks maybe appear a little bit smaller, is because we had to pick a size and go with it rather than have our quilt.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's amazing. They were not as particular as we
Exactly.
work at today.
And that's
Yeah.
okay too.
It is.
That's
It
okay,
is.
too.
Yeah, we're hard on ourselves.
We
sometimes.
are.
We're in the Quilt Show standing in front of a quilt made by Holly Meyer, which is Ann's daughter. Would you like to talk about this quilt a little bit?
Yes, Heidi is only 24, and as a poor college student, she decided to just use solid fabrics. This is her actual third quilt that she has made entirely by hand.
Oh,
Even
my.
the binding, everything is by hand. The quilting is, and it's an Arkansas traveler pattern. When she started it, she said, "Mom, you didn't tell me this was going to be so hard." But it's one of those patterns that, you know, you almost have to do it by hand because of all the points and the way they meet. There's not a distinct block that way. But I'm just very pleased with the way it's turned out. And she did get a best of show at the Richland County Fair with this one.
Oh, very good.
And she's giving it
Congratulations.
away to a girlfriend.
Oh.
So, yeah, amazing. But and she's having a lot of fun. It relieves stress, she says. She just likes to do it by hand.
Very good. Are these current fabrics or some of them?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are. Yeah. Just
Very nice.
solids. Mm-hmm.
Very nice look. Thank you.